Hey! Welcome to the Two Dudes Tuesdays podcast, the only podcast shot directly in the heart of the Brazilian rainforest. My name is Ben.
And I'm Zach. And today we are talking about the worst of the worst.
The most worst of the worst.
The ouchies.
Yeah, jeez.
We're going to talk about pain.
Pain, baby, pain.
Different kinds of pain.
Pain, physical pain.
Emotional scars and pain.
Spiritual pain.
Window panes.
Hunger pain.
Most of my life I thought it was pain. My brother corrected me one time. He's like, it's ping, dummy.
Pain in the neck. Pains in the neck.
In the rear.
Yeah. So the reason we're talking about pain and the reason this has been on our minds and we're bringing it up is because this guy spent last Sunday night in the hospital with a kidney stone.
And he says this guy's pointing to himself with two thumbs.
That's Ben.
That's Ben Jammin.
Ben spent the night in the emergency room. Shout out, Lone Peak? Yeah, it's the hospital in Draper.
Oh, okay.
The one right next to Cowabunga Bay.
Yeah. I think it's Lone Peak.
Lone Peak, yeah. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, yeah, spent there with my very first kidney stone.
Fun.
It was a nightmare.
You want to start giving us some deets?
Dude, I'll give you some deets.
All right.
So,
what was that all about?
We've got to start way back because a lot of the fear, the worst part of something is the fear of fear itself. Did I mess that up? Oh, an idiot.
I follow.
Okay.
I can relate to it.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, just listening to my dad upstairs. He had one and he was just scream. Well, he wasn't screaming, but he let out loud grunts and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And he was just saying it's the worst thing ever. And then my sister got him, my wife got him, and both of them said it was twice as bad as pregnancy. So, you know that whole line about well, women have to have babies and men have no idea. I think kidney stones are worse.
Yeah, I think I've heard that. Or I've heard that a kidney stone is the closest thing, pain-wise, that a man can experience to live birth. Yeah. I think most women are going to hear this and say, you idiots.
Hey, Ashley said so.
I don't blame them.
Ashley said that.
She said, but was Ashley, did she have an epidural?
Yeah.
Okay, so that changes things a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I agree. Because if you had an epidural when you had kidney stone, you wouldn't feel it, and then it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right, or at least, yeah, you don't feel most of it. So, ladies who are listening to the podcast, chime in here. Get on the Instagram. Let us know how wrong or right we are. If you have given live birth with no epidural, no pain control, I would love to hear.
You are a straight baller.
Yeah, you are the GOAT.
Yes.
And especially if you've given live birth, no pain control, and you've had a kidney stone, and you can compare the two. That's what we want to hear from.
Okay. I like that. My dad, put the trauma in my brain. Listen to my wife just scream. One of my sisters was just, it's just very traumatic to see somebody going through that much pain. And so I was always afraid to get one. I was terrified, actually. I think most guys who haven't had one and seen what it can do are terrified. Mm-hmm. You've never had one?
I never have.
Okay. So what happens is when you get a kidney stone and it hits your kidney, it's a pain in a place that you don't feel. Like you don't feel pain there ever, right? So when it did hit, I knew what it was right away. Like the minute I even felt a little bit, because it didn't. Some people will come on really hard. Like shout out to my friend Tim, playing basketball, running down the court, and drops to the floor. Dude curls up into a little ball and he's like, ugh! Had no idea what was going on. And it
No
was his first
kidding.
kidney stone. Yeah. Because it
Jeez.
just, if it can catch, it will hurt, right? Mine wasn't like that. It was a little more subtle. And I was like, this is a weird feeling kidney stone. Okay. So it was like 12 o'clock at night, day before I felt like I was already feeling weird bathroom trips and stuff. And it started to hurt a lot. And I always told myself that if I got a kidney stone, I was going straight to the emergency room. I'm not going to try and be a tough guy, even though I'm extremely tough. Like, way tough. My girls tell me all the time. Like, super tough. I was just going to go get medicine, get taken care of, whatever, right? So I hop in the truck. Everyone's asleep. I drive myself to the emergency room. On the way to the emergency room, pull over, puke my guts out. Not quite sure why.
Man.
Just it was just so overwhelming. I think that, I mean, I just was puking all over the road.
Was the pain so bad at that point that contributed to it?
Oh,
or
yeah.
was it like the pain and the worry and the fact that you were on your way to the ER and you were driving yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that that was actually more, by that point the pain had set in and I was more feeling the pain, and that caused me to throw up than it did the worry, because the worry was earlier. I was like, oh, how bad is this going to hurt? But then once it started hurting, at that point I was already like, I don't know. It's probably all of it, honestly. But I puked my guts out all over the street. Got back in the car, drove to the hospital, went in the emergency room. They brought me in, gave me morphine, did nothing. Nothing. I didn't even feel like, it was literally pointless. Like, no change. Stupid morphine.
Maybe you metabolize it like differently
I've talked
and
to
it just didn't have a high impact on you.
I've talked to a lot of people who said they got morphine at a kidney stone, didn't do anything.
Oh,
I wonder if it's just like specific to kidney stone. I don't know.
jeez.
But did nothing. And I threw up again. And then they came in and took me to do a CT scan. When I did the CT scan, as soon as I climbed out of the table to do the CT scan, threw up again on the table. Like I had a bag, but
Yeah.
like I was like, hold on. And at this point, it's like, when they wheeled me to the CT scan, they jostled some stuff and it hurt.
Oh, man.
And then when I got back on the bed to roll back to my room, that's when it all really kicked in. That was the max. That was the height of my pain for this stone, right? I go back to the room and they're like, hey, we're going to look at the results and we'll come back.
Hang on one sec. This stone? So you've had kidney stones before?
No.
Oh, okay. You're
No.
just saying for
Yeah.
your specific kidney stone.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So 15 to 20 minutes, I'm in the room, waiting room. And when they come in the room, I'm on my knees on the ground, like just completely lost. Like it's so painful and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You can't move in a certain way. You can't push on it. There's nothing you can do besides just sit there and want to just scream, and it's terrible. And so that was the worst for sure. Those 15 minutes and when they wheeled me back, that was the worst. And they said, yeah, you've got a kidney stone. The good news is it's just about to drop. So at that point, it was in my kidney. And once it drops, it's supposed to be a lot easier process, right? Kind of depends. They gave me a much more powerful medicine that's also a medicine that relaxes the muscles. So things open and hopefully it can pass through. And after that, everything was pretty good. I did go, like, I thought I had passed it the next afternoon, but I wasn't sure. And then I left on a hunting trip. I was driving in a car on the way to this place to go hunting, and it came back hard and it hit me. And I didn't want to say anything. I was just sitting in the car and I was breathing through it. And I was doing these breathing exercises. And I had oxy, so I had popped an oxy. And it was taking my breath away, right? Because I was in this car. And then
Somebody else driving.
yeah. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. And I was like, wow. And then the next morning, peed it out. And I
Wow.
was done.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible pain. And the doctor is, he's like, you're pretty dehydrated. You just keep drinking water, try and flush the kidneys. They said I only had one, and it was only in that one kidney. Whereas like some people have like 30 in each. Some people have kidney stones their whole life.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's just whether or not they move, and
So rough.
yeah,
I can't imagine.
what a nightmare. What if you what if you had to someone had to donate a kidney to you and the kidney was like a mass producer of kidney stones? I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
I imagine when people are in the moment, they're thinking,
Yeah.
the hypothetical. I'd rather die than go through this. Not really, but so isn't the thing that makes those so terrible the fact that they're shaped like a spiky ball?
Yeah, so
and they're just ripping apart your kidney as it's going through.
that, and if they're blocking urine passing through in the kidney, that also will contribute to the pain.
Jeez.
So at least that's what I've been told and read about and stuff. But it was a nightmare, and also not knowing when the pain's like at its peak or when it's gonna pass, or there's just so much unknown that it's just a mind mess. Like it works you, and what I've seen others go through 10 times worse than what I went through. I think I actually got it really easy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
By far the most pain you felt though before?
Yeah, and people who get it stuck or like have to get it like lasered out, because what they do, they'll laser it and break it into pieces, and then they put a stint in, and then you still have to pass it, but it's just a lot easier. Or sometimes they have to go in with this little basket. It's like super. It's a pretty serious surgery. They go into a basket, scoop them all out, bring it back.
Whoa.
Yeah. Ouch.
That's the surgical way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people get them really bad. I can't imagine what that would be like to get them all the time.
Oh gosh.
It'd be terrible.
Well, the thing is though, is you get them all the time too. Your the places where it goes through, I guess, will stretch, get bigger, and they'll stay that way. Is what I'm told. Now, if there's a doctor out there that's like, this kid's an idiot, that's fine. Tell me about it. I'm not a doctor. But so then I guess apparently it makes it easier for people who get them all the time to pass them. But there's people who get them like every 6 months. That's insane. Oh, yeah. So that was an extremely painful situation. What about you, Mr. Pain? When's the time when you've just almost couldn't stand it?
I could not stand it. So there's a couple that come to mind. I don't think this would be the worst pain I felt, but man, when you get the wind knocked out of you, sometimes that is just bad. I was snowboarding one time. It was actually my first time ever snowboarding.
Oof.
Caught a lip of the board weird. Came right down, my hand was planted on the ground, my elbow went right up into my diaphragm. And dude, I could not breathe for a solid 30 seconds. Oh. Like, could not take a single breath.
Were you making funny noises?
Yeah, yep. The grunts and the like gasping for air. That hurt so bad that I still remember it. I think the most pain that I have ever felt were on the only 2 times I have checked myself into the ER as well. One was for a migraine that was going for 48 hours. Oh. And man, they fixed that up real quick. As soon as they got me on an IV, they gave me a thing called the migraine cocktail.
Yeah, the drink.
No, well, it was an IV. They ran it through the IV.
Oh, I always thought it was a drink.
There might be a drink too. They call it the migraine cocktail.
Yeah.
And it expands the blood vessels in your brain. Dude, it was incredible. Like I had 48 hours of terrible pain. It was gone in like 3 minutes.
Wow.
Completely gone. I was like ready to get up and just play sports or something.
Yeah. Give the doctor a hug
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
little kiss.
But so that was like the most prolonged pain I've ever had. The My other ER visit, so I have an autoimmune disorder, and it was diagnosed in 2020, like a month or two into COVID,
Ugh.
right? And so that was probably the most pain that I have felt. I feel like with pain I've had it pretty easy.
Wait, what pain?
So upper abdominal pain.
Hmm.
The first time that I felt it, middle of the night, I'm asleep, wake up, feel the pain, kind of rub my stomach a little bit, go back to sleep.
Thought it was Taco Bell.
Thought it was, yeah, the gordita crunch that I ate earlier that night. And over the course of the next, like, I think it was like 2 weeks, it would periodically come back, and I started to notice that it was after every time I ate, and it would get worse and worse and worse until one time I was like I remember bending over the back of the couch because I was like about to hit the floor in pain, in a lot of pain, and finally got to a point where, and my wife would see me in pain, and she said, okay, we need to take you to the ER. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just sleep it off tonight. If I eat breakfast in the morning, I feel the pain, we'll go in. Sure enough, I eat oatmeal, something really light, we go into the ER. Long story short, I get in there, I describe the symptoms to the doctor. They're like, okay, we're gonna get an ultrasound. We're gonna check for gallstones. The ultrasound tech comes in, starts doing her thing, checks, it's first on my left side where the gallbladder would be, and then moves over to the right side
Ugh.
where the liver is.
Ugh.
And immediate, like, it was weird because she abruptly shut the monitor and then just storms out of there. And then the doctor comes back in. It was actually one of the scariest moments of my life. He's like, we found there's no gallstones, but we found a shadowing on your liver, and we want to look into it further, and we want to rule out a tumor. And so, COVID, I'm alone in the ER. My wife had to be with the kids. There was nobody. They would let a spouse in,
Yeah,
but
not kids.
we didn't have somebody watch our kids on short notice.
Right.
So,
yeah, because you don't have a best friend, right across the way. You dummy.
Yeah, I think you were hunting or something.
I was probably
You're
at a photo shoot.
I think you were in the ER with a kidney stone.
Yeah.
So same thing, CT scan. They come back. They do the evaluation. The guy's like, okay, we figured out what's going on. You've got these two massive blood clots in your abdomen. One's in your liver, which is where I was feeling the pain. And every time I would eat, it would like kick into high gear.
Okay.
And hurt in the liver, this blood clot.
Mm.
Another one to one of the vessels that feeds your intestines. So I go and get all this testing done, get diagnosed with this autoimmune disorder. But the short of it, that pain every time I would eat, that was pretty bad. It wasn't a sharp pain like I imagine a kidney stone would be. It was like this throb, and then it would just get heavier and heavier and heavier, and then eventually it would die down again. I think once my digestive system was starting to slow down again.
Well, so what's an autoimmune disorder? What does that mean?
I don't know what like why they would call it a disorder versus a disease. Okay. Mine is considered a disorder, but it's life threatening if I don't treat it right, and so because blood clots can kill you. And that was one of the things they had to check for eventually was did it cause any of the tissue in your my digestive system to essentially die like it wouldn't a heart attack, right?
So it says an autoimmune disorder is a condition that occurs when the body's immune system mistakenly attacks healthy cells, tissues, and organs. This can lead to inflammation and damage of many parts of the body depending on the type of disease. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, didn't you blow out your knee? You've had knee surgery. That had to hurt, right?
Yeah, but when I injured my knee, it was like I was the thing that finally did it because I was slowly tearing cartilage over time, and I started to feel catching in my knee.
Yeah.
The thing that finally did it, I was on a trampoline, and I go to do this really big jump, and then there's a pop.
Ooh.
and that was like the final tear and the cartilage like breaking off.
Yeah.
That really hurt for a split second, but then I mean, I've just had this kind of light pain ever since having surgery, and
And surgery wasn't painful.
surgery wasn't bad, no, because they put a local anesthetic in my knee,
Hmm.
and so for the 3 days that would have been bad, I couldn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
And afterward, yeah, the recovery was kind of rough, but it wasn't that bad because I kept off it,
Yeah.
rested it, that sort of thing.
Have you broken bones?
Fingers,
Fingers.
that's about it.
Fingers are like a pretty quick hurt, right? Like you do,
Yeah.
and you're like, ah, and then you're fine. You're like,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had like a bad break. Like you've broken carpals, right? In your wrist.
oh yeah, I'm
You've broken your wrist.
broken quite a few things.
Yeah.
Broken tons and tons of girls' hearts. Broken tons of benches. Broken
Tons of park benches.
Broken tons of weight limits.
Broken tons of commandments and laws. Broken lots of speed limits.
Yeah, there we go. No, but yeah, I've definitely broken some fingers and stuff.
What was the most painful break?
The most painful break I remember was with you at Classic. We were at Classic skating.
Oh, your finger.
Well, but the thing is I fell on that stupid little step,
the ledge,
and hit my femur, and I thought I broke my femur. And in fact, it was such a bad dead leg that I grabbed my leg with my hand, even though my finger was just completely destroyed. And I didn't even know my finger was broken for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So, but I was also little. So thinking back to that makes me feel like that was the worst. But a lot of the others were pretty painful. When I broke my wrist snowboarding and I broke both bones, like compound fractures right in half. They was all crooked and weird, you know. The dentist, what an idiot. The doctor who set the bones, when he went to go set them and push them back and align them back up, that was extremely painful.
They couldn't numb you up enough to.
No, I mean it was funny because the nurse walked in and she looked at me and she goes, "Kay, just hold my hands," and I'm like, "Why?"
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And I was holding her hands and he goes, "Okay," and then he just put all of his weight into pushing, right? Pulling on one, pushing on the other part of my arm. And I sat up in bed and I let out, and I just screamed. I was like, "Ah!" Like just, oh, it would hurt.
Profanity.
And he sat back and he goes, "Dang, kid, you got big bones." And he goes, "Here we go again."
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had to do it multiple times?
Just those two, just one right after the other.
Geez.
And then I had to sit there with my fingers in these metal Chinese finger traps, and my arm hung, and they put weight on my biceps, so it like stretched it, you know. But the thing is, I had broken my thumb, and gotten the cast off a week earlier. So when I was in those stupid Chinese finger traps, my thumb was just throbbing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I can imagine.
But when he pushed on that was hard. That hurt. I don't like burns though. I feel like burns just keep burning.
They do.
Yeah.
They throb for a long time depending on how bad the burn is. Yeah. Those are rough.
Yeah. I had Giardia when I was in Spain.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I decided to drink out of this random hole in the side of a castle wall. You know.
Please explain.
Yeah, so there were these really old castles in Spain have like these little, what do you call them, like aqueduct things, you know?
Okay.
And when it rains, water goes down them and it shoots outside of walls, these castles, and we were out and I was like, fresh water.
Was it raining at the time?
or had just rained. One of the two. Yeah.
Or somebody upstairs flushed a toilet.
Yeah, seriously. And I drank some of it, and that night, oh man, that stomach pain was brutal. Brutal. And it was funny because I'm in the bathroom, I'm on the ground, I've already thrown up like every piece of anything. And some senior missionaries come and pick me and my companion up. They take me to the hospital. And when I get there, I had been out like about a year and a half. So my Spanish was fine, right? But you still have to like listen, like you still got to pay attention. And I walk in and they put me on in a wheelchair, and you know, healthcare in Spain is not healthcare in America. And I'm just sitting in the wheelchair and I'm like, oh, like in so much pain. And I just lay down on the floor. I'm just like, cause I don't care. And then this nurse comes up to me and she's like talking to me in Spanish, like, you got to get up. And I go, I like waved her away and I'm like, stop talking. But I said in English because it was just like, I don't know, it was just overwhelming.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that actually, that didn't feel like a flu stomach pain. That felt like like a sharp pain.
Yeah.
And that was hard. And then they put me on this bed, wheel me into this big room with like 15 other people. And then yeah, they gave me meds and I was fine, but that was painful.
How long until you were back to normal?
Oh, like that next day. Like it was
Oh.
kind of like the flu type of thing. I don't know. They just gave me medicine and went away.
Jeez. I don't know
Yeah.
my sicknesses or diseases that well, but that one I had always assumed was pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like it could have lasting effects. Maybe I'm thinking something like malaria or
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It sucked, but very treatable.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
But yeah, but what I was saying earlier, burns. I hate burns. Those like you think about people who've like half their body. Oh, I just saw a story actually of a kid, a pizza delivery guy who ran into a house, saved 4 children, and then there was a baby. Fire department shows up. He finds out there's a baby in the house, runs in, gets the baby. On the way out, like basically is passing out. He's like, I can't breathe. Give me water. But no. The first thing he says is the baby okay?
Oh, man.
And he's young. He's not even old. Kid got like awards and stuff and recognition. Just total ball.
Where did this take place?
I don't know. Not
like
Utah.
in the U.S.?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some city in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They better have left a good tip.
What if the pizza got burnt?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's serious stuff. Those burns.
Yeah, so he was his name is Nick Bostic, and he's from Lafayette.
Okay.
Where's that again? Lafayette.
Aren't there lots of Lafayettes?
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, they created a GoFundMe over
To help with his medical bills.
Wait a minute.
I bet it's well funded.
Wait a minute. Is this old? And I just heard about it. It is.
I hadn't heard about it
Gosh
either.
dang it. How is this so old?
Because good news doesn't make the news.
That's true.
Seriously. Doesn't get enough clicks.
This is from 2022. 2 years ago. Oh, man.
Wow. So that was the baby crying.
Yeah, but they couldn't. Nobody could hear that but you and me.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was Nick Bostic. Yeah. They did a
stud.
GoFundMe, and it's saying here they raised over $500,000
Wow.
for the kid. Total stud.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about on the topic of similar pain, what's the most just miserable you have ever felt? Like the worst you have ever felt. It can involve pain or maybe it doesn't, but like this maybe the sickest you have ever been. Because you've had some gnarly sicknesses.
Yeah.
Like
I had a kinked bowel when I was in
what?
middle school.
Oh jeez.
In elementary school in the 5th grade, I was in the hospital for like 10 days. And they brought in these military specialists, I guess. and all the kids in my school wrote me letters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they didn't find out what was wrong with me, and then I just got better.
Wow.
Um, no, the worst, the pain of, well, I guess that's not fair. The If I think back to like moments when I'm like, no way do I want to go back to that moment. Those pains are when my two daughters were sick, right? When Taylor was in the hospital for a staph infection and was getting surgeries on her leg, that pain is an emotional pain, but it's a nightmare pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? When doctors are coming in saying stuff like, if it gets into the blood or into the bone, this could happen, this could happen. Yeah, it just the worst. And people who've had kids go through some sort of trauma, maybe children with cancer or brain issues, I've seen some families go through that, and that is a real nightmare. Luckily Taylor, my youngest, ended up okay, and then Jordan, when she was in the hospital for a week, my middle one, she had RSV and asthma. She was 1 year old, and I slept in a chair sitting up next to her in the NICU, in the intensive care unit, right? And she's not breathing on her own. She's got to use this machine, right? Those moments, like if you were like, there's two moments that what you don't ever want to go back to. I would rather have a kidney stone than go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that is
absolutely.
Oof.
You would do anything to take that from your child, especially.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's terrible. I remember when Jordan, because it happened to Jordan first. This is a funny story. My mom's gonna laugh at this. 50% of the people listening
of our audience.
Yeah, for our audience. When we took Jordan to the hospital the first time, we went to the Riverton Hospital. And as soon as we got there, they did like one or two tests, and they're like, "You need to get to primary children's. We're gonna put you in an ambulance. Go." Jordan went in the ambulance with Ashley, my wife, and I was supposed to follow behind them in my truck. And it's like 1:00 in the morning because we were trying all night to help her calm down, and then we're like, we should go to the hospital. So I'm following behind the ambulance, and I'm like staying 10 feet behind them, right? I'm not losing them. I'm just staying with them, blowing through everything, not even caring, but bawling like a little, just crying and just like while I'm driving. And I call my mom and I'm like, "Mom."
I wish there was video of your face right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay to be sad in
but
that moment.
Nobody blames you.
No, but it's still funny because if you think about me driving, just both my hands on the steering wheel, leaning forward, and "Mommy, you went to the
yeah." Like nobody can understand what you're saying because you're crying so hard.
Yeah. Shout out to my parents though. They got up, they got on a plane, like right then. Like is the soonest plane that went out of Denver. They both got on and were at the hospital.
That's awesome.
But it was still funny to just like bawl to my mom. That's a funny story.
Yeah.
I
have a question. I have a question with that though, real quick. When you're in the middle of that, because I imagine it's like you said, it's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And did you feel like you had to, you kind of had to force yourself to be composed, to kind of keep things together for the rest of the family, especially your wife, for the other kids? Like, what were you thinking that time that you cried out in the truck and then put your emotions aside so you can? Because I think in a lot of ways we would approach that as parents, like, I need to be as positive as I can.
Yeah.
To bring those vibes to the rest of the people that are.
Yeah, I would like to say yes, but embarrassingly, I actually, when Jordan went to the hospital first, at the time, I was getting, when I got really anxious, I'd get sick. And so we were in the hospital room. We had just, followed the ambulance, got there, realized the intense, the
Like gravity
gravity
of
of the situation. And I'm standing there watching, and I'm just watching. And then a nurse says, "Hey, are you okay?" And I apparently started turning white, just no, nothing huge, just losing color. And they're like, "Sit down, sit down, sit down." So I sat down, and then I started feeling sick, and I just like laid over. And at this point, Ashley was just there. The doctors were there, and they were just monitoring Jordan. So most things were kind of like at a point where it's just like we're just there, And I fell asleep just because like I was overwhelmed. I don't know. It's just what I did. And then when I woke up, I was good, And then I was like, yeah, everything's gonna be okay. We'll just be strong. But in that moment, it was weird. Just overwhelmed me, and it sucked. But I think that there is truth to that, though. That in moments where there's issues like that, you kind of just feel like you got to make sure everyone's okay as a father.
Yeah.
I think moms can do the same thing too, though.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, like they, there were definitely meltdown periods though, where it's just like you're just lost, scared, sad, all the things.
I mean, as a parent, like you're just being tested hardcore.
Yeah.
And being able to hold it together through that, yeah, it'd be a big challenge. My wife is such a cool cat. Like she just her ability to keep calm in high stress situations. I'm the one that's like strung out, like
Yeah.
trying not to freak out.
Yeah.
And she's good at mellowing me and keeping us all grounded.
Thank goodness for our wives, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, yeah. So there are a lot of painful things, and a lot of, there are people who unfortunately it got even worse, and they had to go through the process of what it's like to lose a child, which, oh my gosh, I can't even. It's just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And those people who go through that are incredible, absolutely incredible. But so it's an interesting topic today. The pain. We had missed. We were supposed to release a podcast last week, and we missed it, and that was because
kidney stone.
Yeah, it was because of the kidney stone. Zach was coming over, and I was like, dude, I gotta sleep, and I wasn't sure still what was going on. So I thought, I could just address it. But yeah, I'm sure there's other things out there that have been more painful. One story that's really funny. So we have a friend, not gonna name him, but he knows. All our friends know. We have a friend who got in a car accident in high school, and he ended up losing skin on his finger. And so they had to move some skin from his hip to his finger, and it made it so his finger was still really, really sensitive. Right? The nerves in his finger were just sensitive, okay? And so maybe a year passes, maybe two, at least a year, maybe two, and we decide to go hunting. Actually, I didn't go. I was still at the apartment, but they told me this when they got back. They go hunting, and this friend of mine decides to pick up one of the shotguns and shoot it, and the recoil when he shot it hurt his finger so bad that he passed out.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I don't even know which friend you're talking about. Tell me off air.
Okay. Yeah, he but remember, because it was from his hip, he grew hair on it.
Oh, that's funny.
So he grew hair on the end of his
like
finger.
On the pad of his finger.
Yep.
And didn't have a fingerprint anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it was just, he just said it was pain was so great there that he just passed out.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love that story.
That is funny.
Well, that's all we got for today. Please share with us your pain stories, because I know that there's people who've gone through some, like back surgeries or broken femurs is supposed to be.
Oh man, that's supposed to be bad.
Yeah,
bad news. Yeah, bad injuries, car accidents. My wife was in a really bad car accident when she was like a teenager.
Yeah,
really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know in the comments. Again, going back to ladies who have given birth without pain medication and had a kidney stone. I'm really curious on that debate.
That person deserves
Medal of Honor.
Yeah, deserves a doghouse hamburger.
Yeah, exactly. My wife actually during a pregnancy had a small kidney stone, and I just sat back and I thought, that is so unfair.
Oh.
That's so unfair. But she toughed it out, man. She's a tough cookie.
Gee whiz.
So yeah, this was good.
We really are wusses when it comes to it.
Oh yeah.
Have you all those shirts about tummy aches and stuff? Yeah. When I get a tummy ache, I'm out and I'm moaning.
Like the man cold, as they say.
The man cold. Yeah. There's truth to that for sure.
Pansies.
Yes. All right. You want to lead us out again?
Yep. In case we don't. No, we're not saying that anymore.
I thought we brought it back.
Did we?
Yeah, because people said they liked it, and otherwise our closing outs were awkward.
All right. Well, here we are bringing it back.
Let's bring it back.
In case we don't see ya.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.